Hello Tesla family, it's Beam J back with another video, and in this one, I need to separate what's the deal with Tesla spying video the QQQ and several different tickers. I'll separate what occurred with the CPI report that came out toward the beginning of today, going on with significantly more information emerging for later, and what it could mean for the business sectors. What the news is talking about Tesla is we have Elon Musk giving us a major update about Tesla's entrance to India and what the CHS are proposing for Tesla. Yet again, find this large number of tickers before we get the copies data. Before I dive into additional subtleties, let me simply notice 2 or 3 things. I'm by and by not a monetary organizer, so take nothing I say as monetary counsel. Likewise, assuming you all can, kindly look at the Webull Connect, which is down underneath and in the depiction. In the event that you pursue Webull and store $500 into the record, you're insured 20 free stocks. On the off chance that you store $25,000 or more, you're insured 75 free stocks. This offering closes in only a long time. At any rate, presently, how about we separate what's befalling Tesla and the market as of this moment? The market took somewhat of a hit after CPI emerged, and I give you folks an admonition about how a major move is coming to the business sectors. We checked SPY out. SPY siphoned to $522.21 an offer and afterward unloaded 10 focuses today, right down to $511.22 an offer. We got a major drop after CPI emerged, and from that point forward, the market exchanged sideways. Tesla, then again, essentially saw a not-so-enormous drop when we were opening. However, at that point kept on sliding as the day happened as we had some regrettable news emerging from examiners. Along these lines, I need to discuss what they wound up talking about. I need to discuss a few information and afterwards separate what's the deal with the diagrams in the following 2 or 3 minutes. Anyway, what's going on with this information? We should initially discuss this. Thus, assuming that you all saw my initial morning video, you all could avoid this part. On the off chance that you didn't see it, I will go over CPI simply genuine fast once again for everyone individuals out there who most likely didn't see it. CPI came out year more than year at 3.5 over the assumption for 3.4. Excuse me, folks. Then, at that point, we likewise had month-over-month CPI emerged at 0.4 over the 0.3% assumption. Center CPI year more than year was 3.8, that is over the 3.7% assumption, and afterwards center CPI month more than month was 0.4 over the 0.3% assumption. Everything was more sizzling than anticipated by a smidgen. Not the best of information for the Fed and the business sectors. This made the business sectors see an incredibly large move to the drawback. CPI was somewhat hot. On top of all of this, we had Bowman giving a discourse, and that's what 2 or 3 things like. And we saw a few fascinating changes. This is what the outline resembles for CPI. For all things, we have the blue line here. Notice how from January to February this began to go up and went up. Significantly more. It went pointedly up a piece in the long stretch of spring, and here we saw several months where CPI began to go up. I additionally need to take note of that, and this is only similar to more hypothesis. Nothing's dependable here, however, the CPI report was going up around July and August, and that is the point at which the market began to downtrend. When CPI began to descend again by the October report, this turned out in November. That is the point at which the financial exchange wound up lining, and we saw a major convention back up. In this way, we're seeing a fundamentally the same as example here where CPI is beginning to go up. Market's descending only a tad. Is it true or not that we are going to see the market keep on sinking or not? That will rely upon considerably more information. However, with regards to, center CPI, that is CPI without food and energy, correct? The purple line here, this has been exceptionally steady. It's been plunging only a bit of touch. The last report was somewhat more sizzling than anticipated, so we'll find out how this turns out also. Be that as it may, CPI is vital right now since this is connected a piece to PPI, which is emerging for later, particularly on the grounds that raw petroleum is going up. Thus, the cost of a barrel of oil is proceeding to go up. This is vital, it's influencing expansion, making it go up too, and these things have a high connection as you all can see by and large. Thus, this is vital, particularly as we're seeing more strains all over the planet that are sustaining, particularly in Iran, and with this event, it will have a major impact as we approach the mid-year. Thus, I will proceed to simply screen the entirety of this information and find out how it turns out. I need to likewise get down on this from the Fed. All in all for May, for the following FOMC meeting, there's a 6.4% opportunity the Federal Reserve will keep rates something similar, For June, this changed. Previously, there was a 56% opportunity the Federal Reserve planned to cut, and a 40-something per chance the Federal Reserve planned to keep rates something very similar. This wound up changing in light of the fact that now the likelihood of the Fed giving us a rate slice in June has dropped to just 18%, and the chances of the Fed keeping rates as similar in June have increased by to 80%. Thus, this went up and this one went down comparative with what yesterday was like. I recall this is significant on the grounds that presently there's a generally excellent possibility that the Federal Reserve will keep rates higher for longer. This is a smidgen more negative news for the business sectors. If the Fed keeps on doing as such, this means the Federal Reserve will keep rates higher, which will cause more agony for the economy and more likely constriction than what they were at first expecting, more than whatever the market was expecting too. This is significant for Tesla since Tesla is exceptionally delicate to loan costs, all right? This is exactly the same thing with the wide range of various vehicle organizations out there. Thus, this is some enormous news up to this point, and we'll check whether this changes. Not excessively certain about July yet. We want to see more information for that not entirely settled. The market is unbiased at the present time. We're not very unfortunate yet. We're not incredibly voracious. We're where the market's gone repurchased up once more. We'll need to check whether that go on tomorrow or not. The market is still very ravenous, yet there are a few movements here. The puts and call choices proportion is going up. We're seeing more puts being purchased, more shorts heaping in, and at the same time market unpredictability is likewise expanding. We're beginning to see more apprehension sustaining inside the business sectors. That is vital and quite significant. To the extent that Tesla goes, we have some new news that emerged. Tesla experts have reduced their cost focuses on the stock, as we saw a significant number of them out there like Flawless Sandler. They're actually giving Tesla an overweight rating, saying it will beat the market, yet presently they're saying that it will rush to about $205 an offer rather than $225, which is what they were talking about previously. We likewise saw Examiner at Bank of America say that Tesla will probably race to about $220 an offer rather than $280. That is one more cut that came, and we saw additional report about this from different experts like Jeffrey. The rundown goes on, yet we're seeing a great deal of this incident. A ton of these experts likewise cut their conveyances targets. I went over this news during my second video of the day, so if you all need to see more data about this, simply check my second and third recordings out. I went over this in significantly more detail. There's additionally news that Elon Musk will be meeting state head Modi of India. He will meet him extremely soon in only 2 or 3 weeks. That is incredible information for Tesla, and Musk said that Tesla will enter India. He's entirely sure they will be. He says occurring in the future is going. They simply need to keep on doing however much they can to change strategies, particularly for the EV area and different guidelines. Yet this is an extraordinary piece of information for Tesla too. We had volume at 84 million. That is a tad suboptimal, and Tesla wound up seeing the short volume dropping a little, so it's sort of level not too far off. Morgan Penn gave Tesla an overweight rating only 2 days prior. Goldman Sachs gave Tesla a nonpartisan rating. Pushing ahead, monetary evaluations have moved a tad downwards towards over the long haul, however this could really increment later on. Obviously, we're still huge bulls as long as possible, however things are moving a little. At the cost PR proportion, it's somewhat low right now as Tesla is as yet not however solid as what it seemed to be like previously going into like last year, yet this could likewise move later on, during the year in the event that Tesla gets to the next level. Wednesdays will generally be green just 48% of the time, and we will generally see greater unpredictability at 10 a.m., furthermore 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, that is all there is to it for information. I'm not exactly seeing something else that is excessively critical. Anyway, something final I need to discuss before I separate the diagrams. What information is coming up for later? For what reason is tomorrow another totally monstrous day? Indeed, for later we have the second piece of CPI emerging. We have PPI information emerging, and this will be vital. PPI is the maker cost list. It's like CPI besides from the maker side. This will be vital with regards to inflationary projections, since this is more affected by the assembling things that I was showing you folks before and factors like that. Thus, this will influence CPI during the following month. This is a vital proactive factor. Presently, we're anticipating a slight increment incidentally for center PPI by around 2.2% to 2.3%. It was at 2% last time, so a slight increment is normal. I feel that this will be moderate. This is generally not that insane, yet the large thing I'm looking for is this here where I'm featuring PPI year over year. That will be vital. We maintain that this should be somewhere in the range of 2.1 and 2.2. We're expecting an increment due to energy and such, so the inquiry is it will be hot at the point when I discuss T.